The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, was a defining moment in Roman history, particularly due to the challenge posed by Hannibal Barca, one of the greatest military strategists of all time. While Hannibal's brilliant campaigns, especially his invasion of Italy, dominated much of the conflict, Rome's strategic response to these challenges played a crucial role in the eventual Roman victory. Throughout the war, Rome adapted its strategies, from avoiding direct confrontation with Hannibal to launching decisive counterattacks in Spain and North Africa. This analysis explores the key strategic plans that allowed Rome to recover from early setbacks and eventually secure victory in the Second Punic War. 1. The Fabian strategy, avoiding direct confrontation with Hannibal. Hannibal's early victories, particularly at Trebia, 218 BCE, Lake Trasimene, 217 BCE, and Cannae, 216 BCE, dealt devastating blows to Rome's military forces. After these defeats, Rome adopted a new strategy known as the Fabian strategy, named after Quintus Fabius Maximus, who was appointed dictator following the catastrophic loss at Cannae. The essence of the Fabian strategy. The Fabian strategy was based on the principle of avoiding direct engagement with Hannibal's army, which had proven superior in tactical battles. Instead of risking further catastrophic defeats, Fabius focused on wearing down Hannibal through attrition, small skirmishes, and denying him the opportunity to resupply or recruit allies among the Italian city-states. Avoidance of large battles. Fabius deliberately avoided large-scale confrontations with Hannibal, instead opting for delaying tactics and guerrilla-style warfare. He shadowed Hannibal's movements, harassing his foraging parties and cutting off supply lines, while refusing to engage in open battle. Denial of reinforcements. Fabius sought to isolate Hannibal by preventing him from gaining reinforcements from Carthage or local Italian allies. Rome focused on maintaining the loyalty of its allies, especially in southern Italy, preventing Hannibal from securing additional resources. The political challenges of the Fabian strategy. While the Fabian strategy was effective in preventing further Roman disasters, it was unpopular among both the Roman Senate and the general population, who demanded a more aggressive response to Hannibal's invasion. Fabius was criticized for his cautious approach, and his political enemies labeled him as cunctator, the delayer. Nevertheless, his strategy allowed Rome to recover its strength and avoid further catastrophic defeats. 2. Rebuilding the Roman army and mobilizing resources. One of the key factors in Rome's ability to withstand Hannibal's invasion was its capacity to rebuild its military forces, even after suffering heavy losses. After Cannae, Rome faced a desperate situation, with its legions devastated and much of Italy in disarray. However, the Roman Republic's vast resources and ability to mobilize its population allowed it to recover and continue the war effort. Mass recruitment and raising new legions. Following the defeat at Cannae, the Roman Senate took extraordinary measures to replenish its military forces. Rome's ability to recruit new soldiers from its Italian allies and citizenry was a crucial factor in sustaining the war effort over the long term. Raising new legions. Despite the massive loss of life at Cannae, Rome raised several new legions from both its citizen population and Italian allies. The loyalty of these allies, particularly those in central and northern Italy, was vital to Rome's ability to continue fighting. Expanding military resources. Rome also expanded its use of non-citizen soldiers, including slaves and freedmen, to bolster its legions. In some cases, even criminals were conscripted into the army to fill the ranks. Economic mobilization. Rome's economic strength allowed it to sustain the war effort despite the significant losses it incurred. The Republic's ability to levy taxes and gather resources from its provinces, including Sicily and Sardinia, ensured a steady supply of grain, money, and equipment for the army. War taxes and tribute. Rome imposed new taxes on its citizens and allies, as well as extracting tribute from its provinces. This revenue was essential for funding the war, rebuilding the fleet, and paying for the logistics of a prolonged conflict. 3. Securing the loyalty of Italian allies. One of Hannibal's primary objectives was to incite rebellion among Rome's Italian allies, particularly in southern Italy, in hopes that these regions would defect to Carthage's side. However, Rome's strategic focus on maintaining the loyalty of its allies was critical in preventing the fragmentation of the Republic. Defection and retaliation. While some cities, such as Capua and Tarentum, defected to Hannibal, the majority of Rome's allies remained loyal, largely due to Rome's ability to maintain a strong political and military presence in central and northern Italy. In response to defections, Rome took swift and brutal actions to punish cities that sided with Hannibal. Retaliation against Capua. When Capua, one of the most important cities in southern Italy, defected to Hannibal, Rome launched a determined siege and eventually recaptured the city. The leaders of the rebellion were executed, and Capua was harshly punished, serving as a warning to other cities contemplating defection. Diplomatic efforts. Rome's diplomatic efforts were also crucial in keeping many of its allies loyal. The Senate ensured that key Italian cities received adequate protection from Hannibal's raids, and the Romans reinforced the notion that continued loyalty to Rome would bring long-term security and benefits. 4. The Roman counteroffensive in Spain. While Hannibal's campaign in Italy occupied much of Rome's attention, the war was also fought in other theaters, most notably in Spain, where Carthage had significant holdings. Spain was a vital source of manpower and resources for Carthage, and Rome recognized that cutting off Hannibal's supply lines from Spain would be crucial to winning the war. Scipio Africanus and the Spanish Campaign. One of Rome's most brilliant strategic moves during the Second Punic War was the decision to send Scipio Africanus to Spain. Scipio, who would later earn the title Africanus for his victory over Hannibal, led a successful campaign to dismantle Carthaginian power in Spain. Capture of Carthago Nova, 209 BCE. Scipio's first major victory came with the capture of Carthago Nova, modern Cartagena, Carthage's principal stronghold in Spain. The capture of this key city deprived Carthage of a critical naval base and a major source of supplies, turning Spanish tribes against Carthage. Scipio also worked diplomatically to turn Spain's local tribes against Carthage. By securing alliances with these tribes, Scipio weakened Carthage's position in Spain and deprived Hannibal of reinforcements. The Battle of Ilipa, 206 BCE, Scipio's decisive victory at the Battle of Ilipa effectively ended Carthaginian influence in Spain. This victory cut off one of Hannibal's key sources of resources and isolated him in Italy. 5. The invasion of North Africa. Perhaps the most decisive Roman strategic plan during the Second Punic War was the decision to take the war directly to North Africa. By invading Carthage's homeland, Rome forced Hannibal to abandon his campaign in Italy and return to defend Carthage. Scipio's North African Campaign. After securing victory in Spain, Scipio persuaded the Roman Senate to approve an invasion of North Africa. The strategic rationale behind this plan was that by threatening Carthage itself, Rome could force Hannibal to withdraw from Italy and fight on home soil, where he would be at a disadvantage. Alliance with Massinissa. Scipio secured the support of Massinissa, the king of Numidia, whose cavalry would play a decisive role in the upcoming battles. Massinissa's cavalry provided Rome with a critical advantage over Carthage's forces, particularly in the open battles of North Africa. The Battle of Zama, 202 BCE, the final decisive battle of the Second Punic War, was fought at Zama in 202 BCE. Scipio's forces, reinforced by Massinissa's Numidian cavalry, defeated Hannibal's army, marking the end of the war. Hannibal, despite his tactical genius, was unable to overcome the superior Roman cavalry and Scipio's disciplined legions. 6. Roman diplomacy and alliances. Throughout the Second Punic War, Rome's diplomatic efforts were critical in securing the support of key allies and neutralizing potential enemies. In addition to maintaining the loyalty of its Italian allies, Rome forged important alliances with other powers, particularly in the Mediterranean. Alliance with Numidia. Rome's alliance with Massinissa of Numidia was one of its most successful diplomatic moves. Massinissa's cavalry played a decisive role in the Battle of Zama, and the alliance helped secure Roman dominance in North Africa after the war, neutralizing Macedon. During the Second Punic War, Rome also had to contend with Philip V of Macedon, who allied with Hannibal. Rome engaged in a diplomatic and military campaign to keep Macedon in check, ensuring that Philip could not send significant reinforcements to Hannibal. Conclusion: Rome's strategic adaptability. Rome's victory in the Second Punic War was not solely due to